对孩子解释我是从哪儿来的，怎么来的，是令父母们非常头疼的一个问题。怎样既尊重科学，珍惜这个性教育的绝好机会，又避免把细节口述出来的尴尬呢？今天我就来分享一本非常适合父母和孩子一起读的小书。我们认真地对待孩子的问题，不支支吾吾地糊弄他们，尊重科学和事实，孩子就会接触到真正的知识，以科学的态度形成对性和生命起源的正确认识。We wrote this book because we thought you'd like to know exactly where you came from and how it all happened. And we know how difficult it is to tell the truth without getting red in the face and mumbling. Anyway, before we wrote all this down, we asked some boys and girls your age where they thought they had come from. Here's what some of them said. I was brought special delivery by the stork. The cat brought me in one night. Daddy got me from the salon.I was a Christmas present from the fairies. Mommy found me at the hospital. Now you know that none of that is true. The truth is much more interesting than that. So we'll start at the very beginning. Little people are made by bigger people. The first thing to know is that babies are made by Grownups. One of them has to be a woman, and one a man.In other words, the two people who made you were your mother and your father. Now, if you put your mother and your father in the bath together, you'll notice they are not made at all the same way. What the differences are. This is important because it's the different parts that make it possible for your mother and your father to make you. In fact,It is so important that we've done two big pictures so that you can see just what's what. Don't worry if the pictures don't look too much like your mother and the father. The important parts are the same on all of us. Let's start at the top of the pictures and see what the differences are. First of all, you'll see that the man has a flat chest.But the woman has two round bumps on her chest. These bumps have a lot of names, but the proper name for them is breasts, and that's the name we want you to remember. When you were just born, your mother's breasts were rather like a mobile milk bar, because at that time you didn't have any teeth.So you couldn't eat hot dogs or hamburgers or French fries or candy or anything. You had to drink your food. The milk that kept you alive for those first few months either came from a bottle or your mother's breasts. So it's a quick thank you to breasts before we move on. Take a look further down the pictures. You'll see that just below the middle, the woman spreads out.But the man doesn't. The reason she spreads out there is to make enough room for a baby, but that comes later. Look further down between the legs. Both the man and the woman have a lot of furry hair there. Don't worry, you'll have some too as you get older. But the important thing to notice is that the man has something hanging between his legs that the woman doesn't have.All you boys have one, and yours will grow bigger as you grow bigger. Just like breasts, this hanging part has a lot of different names too, but the right name for it is penis. So that's what the man has. But what does the woman have between her legs? She has a little opening called a vagina. All right.Now, if you can remember those two names, the penis and the vagina, we'll get on to how a baby is made. The beginning of a baby. What happens is this. Let's say the man and the woman are lying in bed together. This part often happens in bed because a bed is nice and comfortable. The man loves the woman, so he gives her a kiss, and she gives him a kiss, and they hug each other very tight. And after a while, the man's penis becomes stiff and hard, and much bigger than it usually is. It gets bigger because it has a lot of work to do. By this time, the man wants to get as close to the woman as he can because he's feeling very loving to her. And to get really close, the best thing he can do is lie on top of her and put his penis inside her, into her vagina. This is a very nice feeling for both the man and the woman. He likes being inside her, and she likes him being inside her. It's called making love because it all starts with the man and the woman loving each other. It's a difficult feeling to describe, but if you can imagine a gentle, tingly sort of a tickle that starts in your stomach and spreads all over, that will give you some idea of what it's like. And as you know, when you are feeling tickly, you wriggle about a bit. It's just the same here, except it's a special kind of wriggling. It's easier to understand when you realize that the parts that tickle most are the man's penis and the woman's vagina. So most of the wriggling happens down there. The man pushes his penis up and down inside the woman's vagina so that both the tickly parts are being rubbed against each other. It's like scratching an itch, but a lot nicer. This usually starts slowly and gets quicker and quicker as the tickly feeling gets stronger and stronger. Now you may be thinking, if it's so nice, why don't people do it all the time? There are two reasons. First, it's very tiring, more than playing football or running or skipping or climbing trees or almost anything. Good as it is, you just can't do it all day long. And the second reason is that something really wonderful happens when puts an end to the tickly feeling, and at the same time starts the making of the baby. When the man and the woman have been wriggling so hard, you think they are both going to pop. They nearly do just that. All the rubbing up and down that's been going on ends in a tremendous, big, loving shiver for both of them. Again, it's not easy to tell you what this feels like, but you know how it is when you have a tickle in your nose for a long time, and then you have a really big sneeze. It's a little like that. At the same time, a spurt of quite thick, sticky stuff comes from the end of the man's penis, and this goes into the woman's vagina. It feels a bit like this, but much better. Well, believe it or not, this sticky stuff is how you and I and all of us started. It's called the semen, and in the semen are sperm. Each drop of semen is actually made up of hundreds and thousands of smaller drops of sperm, which you could only see under a very powerful microscope. And what they get up to is quite amazing. What they are hoping to find is one of the eggs that the woman produces inside her every month. Very, very slowly, it grows inside the mother. It stays safe and warm in a place inside the mother called the womb. Over a period of 9 months, the speck changes from almost nothing into a full-fledged baby, all ready to come into the world. You might like to know what happens during those 9 months. So we've done a month-by-month chart to show you how an unborn baby grows. 我只把这本书里最令父母尴尬难以说出口的那一部分详细展示出来，其余的就相对容易些了。坦白说，虽然这本书给儿童传递的是严肃的科学，讲述的方式充满童趣，特别适合儿童理解，但是用中文表达出来还是挺不容易的，所以我选择读英语的原文，目的只是给遇到这问题的父母们一个思路。我看到这本书在国内的购物网站上有很多， 是可以买到的，感兴趣的年轻父母可以买来看看。接下来我继续读宝宝出生的这一部分。The birthday. Now we come to the day that all of us have been through and none of us remembers, our real birthday. There lies the baby, all curled up inside her mother. How does she get out? The simple answer is, she's pushed out. The first sign the mother has is a series of stomach aches, coming at regular intervals. At first, these aches come a long way apart. Gradually, they get closer and closer together, and that's when the doctor starts rushing around, because that means the baby is really ready. What the mother has to do is push the baby out through the opening between her legs. And what she uses to do the pushing are all the muscles inside her stomach. Now, when you think how big the baby is and how small the opening is, you can imagine what hard work it is for the mother. It can take a long time, and it's very, very tiring. But in the end, out comes the baby, looking red in the face, cross and yelling like a spectator at a football game. You yelled too when you were born, because it's quite a shock coming into the cold after 9 months of being warm and snug. One last thing has to be done before everybody can relax. For the entire 9 months of her unborn life, the baby has been getting her food through a little tube that is attached to her stomach. Now that she's born and going to start taking food through her mouth, she doesn't need this tube anymore. So the doctor snips it off, ties up the end, and makes it all neat. And that's why you've got a belly button, which is all that remains of the tube that once kept you alive. There, now you know where you came from. You may think it sounds like a lot of hard work for such a little person, but there's a very good reason why your mother and father went through it all. And if you want to know what that reason is, just take a look in the mirror. This book is all about you.